Are the seed oils in your pantry silently sabotaging your health? Or is the fear surrounding them overblown? From Wits and Weights, I'm Villa Pape, and this is Nutrition Science Daily, bringing you the latest in nutrition, fat loss, and health science, all in under 5 minutes, or usually. Today we are getting into, again, the heated debate over seed oils. These oils are extracted from seeds like canola, corn, soybeans, and sunflowers. They become staples across the world. However, there's this movement that claims they are detrimental to your health, labeling them as the hateful eight. And we're just going to look at the science behind these assertions, and you can make your own choice. I realize there are a lot of influencers and people that are hitting this from different angles, including, well, if we don't know, let's play it safe and avoid them altogether. I understand that. So let's look at what we do know. Seed oils are vegetable oils. They come from the seed or endosperm rather than other parts of the plants, and most vegetable oils are seed oils. Examples include sunflower, corn, and sesame oils. And the controversy is that the argument is that seed oils are harmful because they're high in omega-6 fatty acid content, as well as the way that they are processed, which is claimed to promote inflammation and chronic diseases. And some influencers, some wellness gurus, they even label the oils as quote unquote toxic. And they'll go into the history and how it's manufactured and how things were used for chemical and industrial purposes that had nothing to do with humans. And then later on, they had to highly engineer or modify them to work with humans. And I understand all of that. I get it all. Trust me, I'm not ignorant to these things. But what we also have to do is look at what the research actually says, because they've looked at these seed oils for decades. There's extensive research. I also get you've got to look at who pays for the research and the lobbying behind it and where it comes from. But when there's a preponderance of evidence, there is some weight to that, especially when the methodology is sound or there's meta-analyses that are done properly on these studies. So cardiovascular health. Decades of study have shown consuming seed oils can lower your LDL cholesterol levels and reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke. Granted, that's usually when you're swapping from saturated fats to these oils. Does it make them ideal? Maybe not, but there is a difference in the literature. Inflammation. The assertion that seed oils cause inflammation, that is not supported by scientific evidence. In fact, the research indicates they do not promote inflammation in humans. And then a study published in JAMA Internal Medicine looked at over 220,000 individuals over 3 decades and found that those who consume plant-based oils had a 16% lower risk of mortality compared to those who consumed butter, who had a 15% higher risk of mortality. So while omega-6 fatty acids are just part of many things that we need for our health, we do want to have a balance between omega-3 and 6s, although research is showing more and more the importance is having the omega-3s more so than the ratio. That's what we're finding. But the typical Western diet is often high in omega-6s and very low in omega-3s. And so really the solution is not eliminate seed oils, it's increase our omega-3 intake through sources like fish or flax seeds or walnuts, or as well as supplementation. And I did talk about omega-3s earlier this week on this podcast. So how do you do this? Well, make sure you're diversifying your fat sources. I think that's a very practical approach. Have a bunch of olive oil in there, avocado oil, fatty fish. If that's the predominance of your oil, you're probably going to be fine. And this leads me to number 2, limiting ultra-processed foods, which I've talked about twice this week, because many of the concerns about seed oils really come from their prevalence in ultra-processed foods. Most people aren't using a ton of seed oils to cook at home. In that case, I really would recommend things like olive oil. And if you focus on whole, minimally processed foods anyway, you're going to massively mitigate how much you're consuming because you're not consuming ultra-processed foods. And then just stay informed. Like, be skeptical of trends and, who's saying what. Seek out information from reputable science-based sources. Even I want you to be skeptical of me too. If you're like, yeah, this guy's off his rocker, he doesn't have a clue. Fine. You can believe that. You can throw studies in my face. You can choose not to eat seed oils. It's totally fine. I think the vilification of it to an extreme, though, totally lacks any substantial scientific backing to this point. Because when you consume it as part of a balanced dietary pattern, the studies show they contribute to overall health. So rather than just demonizing them, let's focus on dietary diversity, sufficient protein, sufficient fiber, whole foods, whole nutrients, and moderation, and the problem usually solves itself. All right, if you're finding value in this episode in Nutrition Science Daily, take a moment, leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. I've got one more episode this week, and this weekend I'm going to take a look at all the data. If we've got enough reviews coming in that shows us people value this show, we'll keep going. If not, this might be the last week of the show. And so I need your feedback. Let me know if we should keep delivering this content. Tomorrow, we are looking at the science behind snacking. Can it actually be helpful for weight loss and fat loss? Or is it derailing your progress? It sounds like a simple question, but it's not. Hit follow now so you don't miss that one.